Hey everybody. It's been a while. OMWF is still here. We just took a year off. A lot of life changes were happening, and we just needed to kind of
Regroup.
regroup, take some time, yeah, and kind of figure out what we want to do moving forward. And I think we have some plans that we're excited about coming into the new year in 2024, and we'll get a little bit into that later. But you'll want to stay tuned because still got a lot of little things that we need to work out to make some of the things that we want to have happen, but we're positive about those things. So we'll, stay tuned, but we'll get into those here soon. But Shelly, it's been a crazy year.
Oh, I'll tell you what, one of the things that I've been dealing with this last year was the strike. Of course,
Yes.
everybody knows that the writers went on strike and then SAG-AFTRA went on strike. It's been a long, long last half of the year with that.
Mhm.
We finally went off strike in November. So productions are starting back up. We've got a new contract. Excuse me, we got some gains that are really great in this new contract. So we're very excited to see where it's going. The face of entertainment is going to be changing a lot over the next few years, quickly with the advancement of AI, artificial intelligence. So we're keeping an eye on that and seeing where that's
Yeah.
going. There's some producers that kind of want to go into that, like lean hard into that. There's some like independent film that want to kind of really stick with live action.
Mhm.
So because there's a bunch of different ways it's going to go this year, and we're kind of just seeing how that's going to play out. And so we're keeping an eye on that, and we're excited to see where it's going to go and watch so that we still keep entertainment where it's using live people and live writers and not relying heavily on AI, because with the advancement of AI, it's just happening so fast that uh, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's really important that we as artists continue to work on our art and showing our art in its real true content. So I think it's exciting to see where some of this is going, but it's also very exciting to kind of see the reemergence, if you will, of independent film, which kind of had some slumps for a while,
Yes.
after the streaming services kind of got very popular. Independent film kind of took a little bit of a hit. So it's really exciting to see that come back. I think the theaters are excited to see that come back because a lot of stuff isn't going to theaters anymore, right? It's going straight onto streaming content. So in order to keep this alive, we have to continue that model somehow. So that's where my focus is going to be, working with independent film. And
Mhm.
I think as well, that's where your heart lies.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about it because for many different reasons. I mean, independent film, I feel like as you've always I mean, this is my opinion, but I think we're heavily in the middle of corporate filmmaking, uh,
mhm.
which it has its purposes, don't get me wrong. And it's there for a reason. But I also think that it can also be very limiting on creativity sometimes. And so it's refreshing to see a lot of independent films and independent studios. I mean, we can talk about A24 all day long and the stuff they put out, even though, maybe we should distinguish between what independent really means because
That's a great idea.
there's independent filmmaking in general, it's just a general term, but you have studios like A24 or Blumhouse that are independent of Hollywood. Like they are kind of self-sustaining in a way.
And we're
That's,
saying independent, meaning
yeah,
different from the people of the AMPTP, which
yes,
is the Motion Picture Alliance of Producers.
yes.
So mostly those people are the streaming people,
Mhm.
um, the financiers. So you'll see that, and then there's the PGA, which is different, right?
Yes.
So the PGA will have a lot of these independent, what we call independent, which means that they are not making these films with the help of the AMPTP. So that's the differentiate. What word am I looking for?
Differentiation.
That's
I believe is what you're trying to go
that's
for.
a hard word to say. I'm an actor. So that's the difference between the two, so that people understand when you say independent film, sometimes people think, oh, it's those little bitty, like low budget. It's not. We've
Yeah,
had independent films that are like $40 million in budget. So that it's a
which is a
wide
low.
array.
Yeah, and it's made independently of like the big studio system essentially.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And but then you have independent filmmakers like myself who I understand that side of it too, that we are creating and raising our own funds and doing things on our own essentially. And there's a lot of great projects that come out of that as well. And and in fact, a lot of the filmmakers in Hollywood started out doing just that. So
Oh yeah.
I believe that when you say
A lot
independent,
of the streaming services did too.
yes, absolutely, like Prime and all those, and the so when you say independent filmmaking, I think that's an all-encompassing thing, talking about those types of independent filmmakers and those independent studios that are independent of the overall giant studio system
Right.
doing the thing.
Right.
Um, but I think AI is interesting. But I also see where it's like, yeah, this could be a helpful thing, but again, you've always got some people who are trying to use it for other reasons than you were expecting.
Right.
And um, I've seen some stuff written by AI that it's an AI. For me, it doesn't bring in, well, it's kind of a weird way to say it, but the human perspective.
Well, absolutely. And
You
and
know,
it's not there yet.
it's not.
The technology is advancing so quickly that it could be where we would expect it to be, or expect things to be a part of that very soon. So, and I've seen some good stuff, and again, it's expensive. Like the cost of that is high right now. So you're only going to see people who are able to use AI in these studio situations because they're making the most money. So that's the other thing is it's not readily available to who we would call independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
and yeah. And also like with AI, like I have been using something called Leonardo AI to make concept art for, well, an audio drama of all things, just to kind of get my characters put together so I can show the actors and kind of show what this world's supposed to look like. Um, as me as an independent filmmaker and having starting this off with no budget, that's what I'm using because it's the most accessible to me.
Mhm.
So I think AI in those types of respects can be used in a very creative and unique way, especially in the independent film scene. But again, I think that AI in itself, there's other good uses. Like, I mean, over the last couple of years, we've seen old silent films be put through an AI filter to make the
Mhm.
frame rate correct and to colorize it. I mean, Peter Jackson, I think, did something. I don't know if he created an AI thing for this, but when they did They Shall Not Grow Old, which is one of my favorite documentaries ever, they fixed footage that was never been seen before in a World War One documentary because it was too dark and too like decayed, and they were able to create something to pull that out and bring that forward out of that darkness essentially. So there are things that I see AI like can be used for stuff like that to really help preserve our history and help
Absolutely.
bring forth some really cool things and that we never have done before. If you haven't, and if nobody's seen that film, highly suggest it.
I mean,
And
there is a place for AI in film. I mean, definitely there
yeah,
is. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not saying
No,
we
no, no,
should
I agree.
never use
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And it's also
absolutely.
really helpful in writer's block, that it has helped writers, spark an inspiration. Now, they won't use it to write the entire thing, which I think is great, but it does help to kind of like, it's like bouncing off somebody when nobody's there, right? So
Yeah,
you bounce your ideas off this AI and get some inspiration in places that you wouldn't normally think
yeah,
about. So
yeah,
I think there are great applications for AI coming forth in the entertainment
yeah,
industry. There are some I don't like, but that's a story from
yes,
another day. But
yeah, yeah. Well, it's just like I said, like the same thing. Like when I was creating these character concepts for the audio drama, as I kept describing and working on how I saw the characters, and once that character finally came forth, it was very inspirational, inspiring. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, now I can see this. Let me, now I can do it. And it was very inspiring. So yeah, it can be. very useful
Mhm.
in many aspects. But yeah, there are some things too that I've heard about that with AI, and I'm just like, I don't not that doesn't sound like a great idea,
Right,
but
right,
you
right.
know,
And we're gonna watch
yes,
that. We're gonna see where
yes,
those things go. Yeah.
yes, and so and
Mainly with the replacement of human interaction is where we're really kind of watching that,
yes,
is making sure
yes,
that we still have human writers and we still have human actors, and whatever that definition is, we're looking how to define that legally, as well as to interpret it so that everybody's on the same page of what that is. So
yep,
there's a lot of laws happening now. Congress has a lot of laws with AI in there. There's a
yep,
lot going on. So the next year or so, you're going to see a lot about this, and we're
yep.
going to, see how best we can move forward. And the thing is, it's not just going to be affecting the entertainment industry. It's just, this is the first industry it's really going to
Oh yeah,
affect on a broad scale. So being able to be in that position to help with these laws that are happening will not only help us, but will help every other industry where they want to try and bring in AI to see how they can replace
yeah,
human interaction.
absolutely. Well, and then let's circle back really quick to independent film, because I
Sure.
know that the one thing that we're wanting to touch a little bit on with the festival moving forward is really putting an emphasis on independent film, and that's
Mhm.
including all encompassing, like we said earlier, anything from independent studios to independent filmmakers raising their own funds and making great projects. And
And
uh,
not just films, podcasts, TV
podcast,
shows,
yes,
all of the
yes,
aspects of independent work that
absolutely.
we want to focus on moving forward. So that's kind of exciting
Mhm.
to focus on that stuff as we move forward with our festival. You're going to see a facelift with our festival and what we're going to be doing. And I am so excited about the conversations we've been having
Mhm.
on the things we can bring to this festival this next year. And I think everyone out there is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is like so interesting and so unique. So we can't give a lot of it away right
Yes,
now, but we will start making announcements soon.
yes,
And we're going to
absolutely.
like talk a little bit more about that. I'll let Jason talk a little bit about kind of the teasers he wants to give out. But I think you guys are going to be so excited with where we're going with this
Yeah,
festival.
I know I am. There's not too much I want to give away, but I do think that I want to give a couple of shout outs to some projects I've seen over the last year,
Oh, yes.
because that's really kind of stood out to me and have been kind of inspirational. So I know one, I'm going to do a podcast. It's called The Case Within. Um, a good friend of mine, Jonathan Robbins. It's a spinoff of his web series, award-winning web series called Clutch, but it's an audio drama that,
He's amazing, by the way. If you haven't seen any of his work, go out and check
yes,
it out because he is fabulous. And can you spell his last name for people so they can go look that
yes,
up?
Jonathan Robbins. It should be just Robbins, and you can look him up on IMDb and see all the stuff he's worked on.
Yeah, check him
And
out for sure.
Jillian Clare also,
Oh, Jillian. I love
yeah,
Jillian. She's a good friend of mine.
yes, Jillian actually is in the series, and it was based on one of her characters from Clutch and the spinoff, however he did it. But they both directed it. It's a fantastic audio series, and from last I checked, I think they've been getting a lot of listens to it, and so it's a really great. If you like, not true crime, but just like crime dramas in general, I highly suggest The Case Within. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Fun
Um,
fact about Jillian, she's like the most organized like person I know. She can do a spreadsheet in Excel like in a hot second. Like she's amazing. So she's helped us a lot with some things we've been doing within the union. And she's just got elected to her local board in Los Angeles. So I'm excited to have her in a position of going forward because it's always great to bring these younger people into that position. So
yeah.
congratulations, Jillian, on that. I'm excited to work with you in that respect. So that's just an interesting fact about Jillian.
Yeah, and she does a great job in the series as well. It was
Fabulous
really
actress.
great, great,
Fabulous.
great series to listen to if you like crime dramas and especially audio dramas. Um, I really got into listening to podcasts over the last year when I was having to commute weekly back and forth to my new job until we got moved up here, and so I really got to know the web series industry and dive in to that head first, and listening to that was very good. There's some great audio documentaries as well that I could go into that are really great. And I'm trying to think of one off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
podcasts are making a great
Mhm.
resurgence in the
Yes.
entertainment industry, and they're really great, you guys. If you haven't listened to some of these podcasts, and I know you can find them from anywhere from The Office to regular types of documentaries to crime dramas to
Mhm.
sci-fi. Like
Yes.
it just encompasses so many genres, and it's just
Mhm.
been amazing to hear some of the new stuff that's coming out, and that's going to be exciting as we go forward too, because I think podcasts are going to really
Mhm.
be a great new addition to a lot of festivals
Yes.
uh, uh, as we go forward. So I'm
Yes.
excited for that as well.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out to a film. And um I have a I'm a lover of classic cinema. I love even going back to the silent era. And there was a film that just came out a couple of months ago, back in October, and it was called. It's on YouTube. It's done by a group called Hollywood Graveyard. It's The Tomb of Nosferatu, and it is literally a sequel to the original. It's about 35, 40 minutes. Um,
Ah,
but they did a fantastic job. I mean, it looks like, and if I'm not mistaken, I mean, some of oh, yeah, it says right here, filmed on location in Germany and Slovakia. So they went to some of the
wow.
places that the original film had been made. And oh, interesting. It actually features the graves of the original film's director, F.W. Murnau. So I just now didn't.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I've not seen it
Yeah,
yet, but I
but it's
have heard
on.
great things about it. So I
Yeah.
am excited to, it's on my
And
list.
they had an entire Hollywood orchestra actually do the soundtrack to it. So it's like
Oh,
that's
that's
the
amazing.
score for it. So that's Tomb of Nosferatu, and it's on YouTube. So I highly suggest that. It's one of my favorites I've seen here in the last year, and not just that, because I've been trying to develop my own silent film. So it was kind of really cool to see somebody go and actually, like, they literally did a sequel to Nosferatu and shot it in the same style and format and put it out there. And so it was really cool to see. So those are a couple of things that really stood out to me.
And we'll
Um,
put links to those below when
yes,
when
yes,
you're
they will
watching
be.
this, so you can like click on them and watch them, and it'd be easy for you to find them. So we'll make sure we do that. Because that's always fun.
Yes, that will be in the bottom in the description. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think that it's been a year off has been what we needed to kind of get refocused and um, inspired by
I
projects,
agree.
hearing and seeing
I
projects
agree.
like that and what was going on in the industry to kind of let us know how to navigate look moving forward with the festival. So like Shelly said earlier, stay tuned. We can't say it too much at the moment, but we got some things that we're going to be putting in motion. I mean, gosh, January 1st, I think, to get
Yeah,
some.
2024 is going to be a crackerjack year for so many things, especially this our new festival coming out, and I can't wait for you guys to hear some of this stuff. It's amazing. So make sure you go to our Facebook page. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Currently, that's the Ozark Mountain Webfest.
Yep.
I think it's going to have a name change though.
Yep.
Just a little teaser.
Yep.
So make sure you go and like it now so you can find it, but we'll make sure we put links to that in the description below as well.
Yes. And we're filming this right before the new year and all that. So I hope everybody had happy holidays and has a happy new year. And we'll be talking to you in 2024.